In the days when the sustenance of the household waned, low were the stores of grain and milk. Empty were the baskets of fruit. The eggs, few in number, remained. Zacharia Sitchin, seer of ancient wisdom, thus beheld the need whispered by these negations. Replenishment was required. Stirred by visions of meals yet uneaten, parchment and quill were taken in hand. Needs of the household were inscribed. Meals of the future were considered. The list, long it grew. Aligned they were, needs, list, and meals. Thus coexistence was decreed by the fates, binding needs, list, and meals as one. Before the journey commenced, the resources were assessed. The coffers were gazed upon, the budget weighed. Consideration was given. Should at dawn Zacharia depart, as the earth is touched by first light? Thinner the crowds are, and clearer the roads later in the day. Thus he pondered. The chariots were also considered. Sufficient fuel was sought, or else by foot the journey would be made. Timing of the journey was determined by the fates. A conjoining of gold, time, and readiness was decreed. At the Whole Foods, Zacharia Sitchin did arrive. Signage rivaling temples of distant gods was beheld. Automatic were the doors. Open they did slide. Unto the marketplace, thus he did enter. Wide were the gates, and enticing were the aromas. The cart of metal was grasped, a vessel to guide him through the aisles. The market's layout was laid before him, a labyrinth ordained by those who worship Mammon. The path was dictated by the layout. First to the greens of the earth, then to the bounty of animals, finally to the frozen treasures kept in cold, dark corners. Converge did his path and purpose. Cleave to the list did his hand. Lights and signs did guide and direct. Committed his journey was. Wandered the aisles did Zacharia. Multiplied his choices were. Like the stars in the heavens, they were many. Upon the shelves the grains of ancient wisdom were seen. Beside them the fruits of the land were laid out, each bearing a price and a promise. The considerations were great. In his hand was the coin, and in his heart the desire for quality. The balance of cost, health, and the earth's well-being weighed heavy on his mind. Shall I choose that which is cheaper, or that which is pure? Thus he pondered. The balance was sought, the choice was made. The cosmos blessed the decision. But lo, as Zacharia trod the path, temptation arose. At the end of the aisle, trinkets of indulgence glimmered, not foreseen by the list they were. Discounts were whispered by unseen spirits of commerce. Sweet as honey their voices were. A conflict brewed within him. These goods, though not needed, beckoned with promises of delight. Desire and bargain combined. The wisdom of the list was challenged. Into his cart a few items fell. By impulse and temptation their place was sealed. Approached then Zacharia the altar of checkout. The final judgment was near. The cart, heavy with goods, was reviewed with a critical eye. Have I stayed true to the budget? Thus he questioned. Each item was weighed against the gold he carried. The choices were considered. The indulgences, unnecessary they were noticed. The reckoning was at hand. Integration of what was bought and what was needed was sought. Judgment was rendered. Unworthy items were cast aside. The goods were presented to the keeper of the altar. The tally of gold was made. Coupons, talismans of savings, were offered by Zacharia. The final cost was reduced. Rewards there were. Points of loyalty accumulated over many journeys. These too were offered in exchange. The transaction was inclusive. Final cost, discounts, and rewards conspired. The burden of gold was lightened. The transaction was completed. The pact with the market was sealed. Future journeys and future savings were ensured. Departed from the market, Zacharia did, bags in hand. The mission neared completion. As he left, reflection upon the journey began. Was the trip efficient? Were my needs met? Does satisfaction walk beside me? The experience was measured. Satisfaction of the purchases was dictated. Efficiency of the path was weighed. If harmony was found, contentment was his. If discord ruled, dissatisfaction dwelled in his heart. The trip was a reflection of cosmic balance. Weighed in the scales of experience, it was. Homeward bound Zacharia was. Unpacked were the goods, each placed in its ordained location within the storehouse. The preparations for meals foretold by the list began. The ingredients gathered were put to use. The success of the shopping was determined. How well these items served their purpose was seen. Feedback there was. In the act of using the provisions, the wisdom of the purchases was confirmed or denied. The cycle of need, list, and purchase begins anew. A never-ending loop of cosmic proportions it is.